PwC, which is at the centre of a tax leak scandal, has finally issued an apology weeks and weeks after the scandal first came to light. PwC apologised for its completely unacceptable sharing of government tax policy information, but it seems a little late for that now. Joining me is business editor Ross Greenwood. Ross, you've been covering this extensively. We are seeing daily quite sensational revelations about PwC. The latest today that came out of the Senate inquiry was to do with the Defence Department still giving the consulting firm work, but there is pressure for the full 50 or so people involved to be named before government contracts continue. What's the latest on this?
That's it. So 54 people's names have been redacted. In response, PricewaterhouseCoopers has indicated that it would actually send on vacation, not stand down, not stand aside, but to send on vacation 9 people, it says, have somehow, we don't know quite, been implicated somehow. It's also told the Defence Department that despite the fact that there's more than $200 million worth of consulting work that it's doing for the Defence Department right now, the PricewaterhouseCoopers simply told it, look, none of the people who are involved in this, none of the 54 names are working on any of your contracts. Take our word for that, you're away, we'll keep on doing the work. In fact, even more alarmingly, after May, when this had really started to break out, the Defence Department actually issued more work to PricewaterhouseCoopers, despite the fact that this problem in regards to the leaking of confidential information back in 2016 that was all about the anti-money laundering, or rather the anti-tax avoidance legislation that was being brought in by the then Abbott Hockey government, that really it had been leaked, and then a scheme was created to try and get around those very laws that the government was trying to implement. So this really, from the firm's point of view, is hard, but certainly also you'd have to say for the government departments, it's very difficult to manage.
Well, inside PwC, this was called the North America Strategy, and there were multinational organisations that were targeted, that were sent the emails and enticed to come on board. Do you think we're going to see some scrutiny over those tech companies, those multinational tech companies?
I think you've got to, because you know that there were 14 of the biggest tech companies on the planet, and you'll all know the names, that were amongst those that may have gained information about this. And also, you're starting to see sort of hints more than anything else from Senator Deborah O'Neill, the Labor senator who's led the charge to try and have these 54 redacted names revealed to the public, because she's indicating that some of these names are from overseas. Now, if that's the case, it doesn't become an Australian problem. It becomes a global problem for PricewaterhouseCoopers, of course, the biggest accounting firm in Australia, certainly one of the biggest in the world. And then it comes down to, if you like, the ethics of PricewaterhouseCoopers, not just in Australia but around the world, and the way in which it's been marketing these schemes to be able to get around laws that prevented profit shifting to lower tax regimes. Yeah.
Now, just very quickly before you go, Ross, we saw a report in the Fin Review that RBA Governor Philip Lowe warned federal Labor MPs that generous wage rises could actually exacerbate inflation. This is fascinating, the leak, but that he's bought into this argument as well.
Well, there's no surprise that he has said continuously that if you get an excessive wages increase right through the community, it's going to fuel inflation and will lead to the Reserve Bank having to raise it. Now, you've got other bits and pieces that are taking place right now, such as the debt ceiling in the United States, which has obviously caused ructions in the markets, but a deal's been done there. But in this regard, you've got Philip Lowe appearing before the Senate Estimates Committee tomorrow, where he'll be asked, no doubt, about this. And so as a result, it's going to be key to where interest rates move next from the Reserve Bank.